Hi guys, in this video I'll be checking out a new pair of grips for the Quest 3. These are the magnetic controller grips from X-SuperHome. The magnet part of it means that they just attach together magnetically, so they're super easy to remove and put together again should you want to change the batteries within them. They're slightly longer to make the handle or grip a little bit more better and a bit more comfortable if you've got larger hands. And they have full knuckle straps on the back of them as well, so they keep themselves on your hands should you be doing anything like fitness or high action VR games. Okay, let's check out what's inside the box. So here's what you get inside the box. They have supplied me both colors. You don't get 4 controllers in the box. You just get a pair of black or a pair of white. And you get 2 cards. One that's just a general user manual to tell you how to put it together, and some precautions that let you know just how well these grips are meant to function. So looking over the white grips in particular, you can see that it has a quite, I would say slightly cheap, if I'm honest, knuckle strap on the back. It's this silicone variety, which I'm never really a fan of, purely because of how this buckle is attached and fastened. I'm never a fan of this. It's got a small little riveted connection at the bottom here, which means that you can't really reuse this other than cutting it off completely and reusing these loop overs instead, should these break on you. You got a indication of what side the controller is meant to be attached to. Small little hole for IR pass-through of the tracking on the handle of the controller. It's not textured. It has some ergonomics at the bottom here for your fingers, and it's quite a thick plastic as well, so expect some extra bulk to the controller once you've had these attached to your controllers. Basically, as they're magnets, as I said earlier, they just pull apart. You've got a series of magnets around the outside there. No cushioning or anything like that to keep your controller not shaking inside it, so we'll see that how that works out in a minute. And you just simply place the controller inside there and place that around it, and then that's it. It's not shaking inside the grip itself. It doesn't come out from the bottom of it as well, so that's good. Even though it's just sitting on the top there, it just sits above it, so that's going to mean that you don't have any blocking of the sensors, which is good. It's not covering them over on the side there, and that's pretty much it really. You've got the IR sensor that's going to pass through. The grip button isn't being limited in any way, nor is the trigger button there at the top there. And this knuckle strap is a nice token, but as I said earlier, that's almost its maximum setting. You can have one extra, but to tighten it is just really awkward to do. You have to take it out of these little pins here to make sure they don't keep being done. Kind of need to do it without the grip attached around your hand. So I'd say that's the tight as I could make it, and for my small hands it's definitely more suited for larger hands. I would say these grips. It's definitely going to bulk up the controller as well. You can see the differences in size that it actually gives you. So if you do have bigger hands, this is good for that as well. It's going to make that grip slightly thicker to touch. Even though there's a smaller part down here, I kind of feel more natural to hold it near the top there. But if you've got bigger hands, they might sit in these other grooves here instead. But it does make the grip button slightly harder to depress, because that's not as thin as it used to be. So if you do have longer fingers as well, you'll probably benefit from that. The trigger is not a problem at all. That sticks out enough as it is, so it's definitely going to be usable if you've got larger or smaller hands, but these are definitely suited for larger hands. And if you've got a Meta docking station for charging, or you just want a quick access to the batteries, then you just have to pull these apart and get access to the battery that way, and then snap that back on. So it's a lot easier and a bit quicker, I would say, than a silicone cover, and you do get much better protection than a silicone cover as well with this outer plastic material. But I only say that it's probably geared for larger hands really only. So let's get the other one installed. Super quick to put the whole thing together, and again I'm going to have to do this up as tightly as I can. That's probably the limit there. Because they're silicone, they take a little bit of more adjustment, a few more hands needed to get that over your knuckles. But because it's silicone, it will grip a little bit better than some sort of nylon covers. As you can see there, there's no buckle or sleeve to put these in, so they will flap out a bit. You could cut those if you wanted to, I would say, but that seems like a little bit of an afterthought. Again, just like the quality of these straps, it does feel like it's a little bit of an afterthought, and they've gone for the most cheapest option. But that's the grips pretty much as they are there. Pretty good. They do recommend that you keep hold of the actual grip so you don't let go, because maybe this isn't good enough to secure the back of your hand. If you were to drop them, they do say that this might explode, in terms of that it might hit the gap and then the whole thing kind of like falls apart. Again, that's not a problem. You haven't lost the magnets. It's just that it's just knocked the controller out of your hand a little bit, and these snap back together again, no problem. So these black ones are for the Quest 2 controller. You can see how well it molds around the bottom there. You can't use them for the Quest 3. You've got some sort of hole at the bottom there, which I assume, and again here, which I assume that you could probably put in for a wrist strap. There's definitely room for it to come out through the controller and then out of that hole there, although it's coming out the front rather than at the back. And I'd say that's not too bad. No problem with the grip button there and at the top there. And like the white ones for the Quest 3, they're basically going to bulk up your controllers. So do bear that in mind. If you've got small hands, these probably aren't for you, and you could probably do a little bit better than these anyway, looking elsewhere, or look at my other reviews for Quest 3 grips. So as you can see, they don't work with the Quest 3 controllers. There's a big gap there. So they're only really good for the Quest 2 controllers. So these controller grips retail for $15.99 from Amazon. And there's also a 10% coupon currently that's on the store right now. So you get $1 for 6 off this controller grip currently. And I'll leave links down to those down below, so you can learn more about this grip from X-SuperHome and support the channel and buy yourself a pair. Overall, like I said, you're not going to get any sensor issues on the top here, and probably from that sensor there, I'm sure they've designed that okay. Definitely for larger hands, basically. They're not for the smallest of hands, and I think this knuckle strap solution could be improved with something else, removed and replaced with other banding if you wanted that option, but this is definitely a token addition and not a brilliant solution. And I think you could pay about $10 more and get something a little bit better, if I'm honest. So if you do have big hands and you're looking for a controller grip to extend it slightly and make it slightly thicker for you to add a little extra comfort, then I'll check these out. They're not going to break the bank, but I think you could maybe look at some extended grips instead for your Quest 3 controllers. And the same for the Quest 2 as well. There are some better controllers out there, but if you do have access to the battery often, whether you're using the dock or you want some all-round protection on the lower portions of the controller, then this is probably not a bad solution. But I'd say it's build quality and its materials that they've selected. I think you could probably do a little bit better for the money. All right, I hope you found this video helpful. Give us a like if it has, and let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions about these grips from X-SuperHome. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.